everybody out there in YouTube land. It's Oopsy Annie, and it's April 1st, and spring is in the air. This isn't going to be an April Fool's video. No. This is my Oopsy Artsy Drop video. That means I'm going to be going out somewhere in my community along the Boise River, and I'm going to drop off some Oopsy art. That's when I leave a random gift for somebody out there to stumble upon, and they can keep it. And it's free. Now, I've made these little bunnies. I have 2 of them. Here they are. Call this my mama bunny, and this is my baby bunny. I'm gonna go drop them off today. My birthday also happens to be in April. I'm gonna be a year older. That's okay, I've made it a ways. I've made it for 57 years as of April 5th on this planet Earth. As a gift from my hubby, I got a bike. It's a special bike. I've been calling it teasingly the granny bike, but it's not really. It's hipper than a granny bike, I think. Let me show it to you. Now this is called a Liberty trike. It's an electric trike. It has a little battery pack there underneath the basket. That'll help me get around here in Boise, because Boise has, well, it's not a flat land. It's hilly, which is one of the reasons why I like Boise so much. So I have a little extra power, a little extra boost to help me get around town. The basket is going to be great. That's where I'm going to carry my little bunnies for today. Okay, well, I'm off on my adventure. Okay, so I found a place down by the river that is in a warm spot. I'm sitting on some rocks. I'm by this wonderful little quiet place, I hope. I had an Oopsy surprise gift on the way here. I'm riding down the path, and I look to my right, and there on a log, like less than 8 feet from me, is a mink, cutest mink you ever saw. And I stopped, and the mink did not run away. Sat there and kind of looked at me, and I looked at it, and I said, "Oh, thank you for coming and seeing me today on the path and not running away." And well, anyway, I spoke to the mink, and it listened. And then it kind of moved around a little bit, and then came back and listened some more, and then moved around, and then listened some more, and then it said, "Okay, I'm done now. I'm done listening." And it turned around and kind of meandered away. It wasn't threatened at all. It was really neat. A lot of times I see them from more of a distance, and they look black. This mink was just the most richest golden deep brown. I could really see its beautiful fur. It was just a very pleasant, magical experience, and I had to share that with you. So I have moved the camera in hopes of getting a little lower into the rocks due to the wind. I would hate to record this video, go home and find out that it's totally unusable, because I'm running out of time. I don't know if you know this, but I missed my Monday video. That's because it's gardening season here in Idaho. I have joined forces with my sister Ruth. We're sharing a garden plot at the Bora Community Garden. We've been there twice to move dirt. Short little video you're going to see is day 2 of dirt moving. Not my favorite thing, but Ruth says that this is the hardest work we'll have to do all year. Oh boy, I hope she's right. Check it out. Hello, it's Oopsy Annie. I'm on the way to the Bora Community Garden that I share with my sister, who is a gardener, not me. I'm a student. I'm going to enjoy this garden a little bit more later. I'm here to shovel dirt today. Shovel dirt. Wish me the best. Okay, I'm having the worst time trying to decide where to drop off my bunnies. My Oopsy Art Drop. This is a little playground behind me. This is a swimming beach here. I'm thinking maybe some kids will find the bunnies. My problem with wanting to leave my Oopsy Art Drops is that I don't really want them to be sitting out in the open for a great long periods of time. That's my biggest concern. I'm going to hide them amongst these rocks. So I I've made my Oopsy Artsy Drop. So let's talk rabbit, shall we? The Great Rabbit. An Algonquin tale. Micmac and the Passamaquoddy. They're a part of the Algonquins. Once there was Wildcat, and he was wild with hunger. So hungry. He wanted to have his very favorite food. We all have our favorite foods. And Wildcat's favorite food was not pizza, was not fried chicken, wasn't spaghetti, wasn't broccoli. It was rabbit. Oh, Wildcat loved rabbit. Boiled rabbit, fried rabbit, barbecue rabbit. Oh man, he loved rabbit. And on this day, he was especially hungry, so he wanted the greatest rabbit of all. Great Rabbit himself, the one with the magical powers, who was way bigger than the other rabbits, way meatier than the other rabbits. Who cared if he had magic? Wildcat had magic. Wildcat could capture the Great Rabbit and have him for dinner. And so he set off after Great Rabbit. But Great Rabbit was magic, and so he knew right away that Wildcat was after him. And so Great Rabbit began to run away. He could really hop, the Great Rabbit. I'm told he could hop a whole mile with each hop. Boing, boing. 1 whole mile every time he took a hop. Well, Wildcat, he was pretty fast himself, so he stayed on the trail of Great Rabbit. And Great Rabbit used his magic so many times. Every evening when he got tired, he'd stop and he'd create a little magic, a mirage, a fake place, a magical place. And when Wildcat would come upon it, Wildcat would think he was going into a wigwam, speaking to a great chief, when the great chief was really Big Rabbit himself, with 2 feathers on each side of his head. Or he'd go into a Indian village with a church in the middle from them Frenchmen that were coming to Christianize the natives. And he'd go into the church and he'd think he was speaking to the priest, but he was really speaking to Great Rabbit himself. Over and over, Great Rabbit tricked every night Wildcat. But Wildcat was determined to capture the Great Rabbit. He was so determined that he made a bet. He said, if I don't capture the Great Rabbit and eat him for dinner, I'll give up my tail. For you see, back in those days, Wildcat had a very, 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 very long tail. And it was beautiful and furry and so luscious. Wildcat was so proud of his tail. But he was so determined to outwit that trickster rabbit that he was willing to give it up. Because you see, he thought he couldn't lose. But rabbits are tricky. They're used to being meals of other animals. Hawk, coyote, bear. Everybody likes to eat rabbit. Lots of humans like to eat rabbit. Rabbits have become very good at being tricksters. And I gotta tell you something. Great Rabbit tricked Wildcat every single night. He even fed him rabbit poop. Wildcat ate it thinking he was eating peas, but he wasn't eating peas. And then he would get hungry afterwards because he really wasn't feeding himself any food at all. And so he got hungrier and hungrier. And when you get really, really hungry after a very long time, you start getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And Wildcat, he finally got so weak he had to give up his hunt of the Great Rabbit. And in losing, he had to give up his tail. His beautiful long tail. And so that is how we know Bobcat today. For whenever you see a bobcat, you notice it doesn't have a tail? Oh, rabbits are tricky, tricky, tricky. I would love for you to experience the full Algonquin tale. I have put the link to it at the bottom of this video in the description. The Adventures of Great Rabbit. Check it out. You know those rabbits are so tricky, tricky, tricky. We all know the cartoon Bugs Bunny, don't we? And before Bugs Bunny, there was Brer Rabbit. And before Brer Rabbit, there was Kalulu from Africa. And so many other peoples around the world have stories about rabbits being tricky. I mean, what else can you do to outwit those that would prey on you if you aren't strong, you aren't big, you don't have ferocious claws or teeth? Why, if you have a good, clever mind, why, that's probably the best weapon to have of all of them. And that's what rabbits have. By golly, everybody wants to eat rabbit. I hope you've enjoyed this Oopsy Oopsy Artsy Drop today. I do love making Oopsy Artsy Drops. It's a lot of fun. I really hope you enjoy my Oopsy Annie videos, and that if you haven't already, that you subscribe to my channel. I've got some good things coming up, so please subscribe. Ta! Mwah. Bye-bye for now.